G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. As always, I always promote my club exhibition coming up on the 14th and 15th of May 2022, Bonsai Northwest Melbourne. The exhibition will be in Footscray. If you're in Melbourne, Victoria, don't miss out. It'll be an awesome time. 14 and 15 of May, lots of trees for sale and heaps on display. One of the best exhibitions you'll see in Australia, to be honest. Brilliant trees, and come along and have a look. I'll be there all weekend in the sales area helping out, so come say hello. Alright, today we've got another juniper, a Procumbens or Prostrata juniper that belongs to a client, another client tree. I'm mostly working on client trees these days, which is wonderful. Really get to look at some interesting material. This is quite a nice small tree, quite a compact size, nice, not too huge, probably 20 to 30 centimeters high. Got some lots of healthy foliage, probably too much of course, and it's got an interesting trunk. It's got a bit of a dead wood branch there. It does have some natural shari on the trunk there. I think the owner previously had this side as the front, I think. Probably interesting, but it's good. It's probably where it was planted. It was probably planted at this angle and just left growing for a while. Very overgrown, needs to be trimmed back quite a bit. Needs some shari and deadwood work because of this deadwood branch here. But if I put this tree slot on, a lot of the foliage is here. Even if I try and move backwards, it's going to be really hard to move them around. And if that's going to be the original front, all the foliage is right in your face, and even if I pull it back, it's not going to really work. Because of that reason, I think I'm going to have to, and another reason, I will be using this, I think, or plan to use this side as more the front. Couple of really important things is natural shari is appearing at the front here, and I'll extend this one and I'll create more shari on the trunk, and it should look quite nice. The tree goes backwards and then comes forwards, which is a good, nice thing to have. It goes backwards and then forwards. I'll probably bend it a bit more to enhance that forward movement. It's also got a really good branch just here. This branch here is really nice. It sits in the right spot. It sits really well, and it's probably a key feature having a branch on this side to balance the tree going that way. So that's what I'm thinking, something along those lines. So sometimes you're not 100% sure until you start working on the tree, and the first thing I want to do is do the deadwood. So deadwood's probably the first thing. It should be always the first thing you do the shari and deadwood work first, and then the tree will show itself. So a couple of things. Another thing, so if I open it up, you'll see the big dead branch here. Then there's pretty much nothing here on this side, where my finger's rolling on the trunk here. There's nothing on the inside of there, and more reason for actually trying to compact that tree a bit more and use a branch here to create, branches and so on. So really, some of those, negative parts of the tree can be hidden. That bit there, negative, this gin, make a nice little gin along the trunk, enhance the shari here, and yeah, should look good. Will be nice and compact. It's quite overgrown right now. It looks very young and juvenile, and we want to avoid that. We want to make this look like an old tree. So old tree, deadwood work, shorter, compact growth, not huge growth. It's a small tree, so let's keep the foliage nice and compact. It's got really, as I said, really healthy. Other than that, there's not much else to say. It's just get stuck into it. Pot's too big, of course, but I think that's going to be time. I might tilt the tree a little bit forward as well. I think it's just falling back too much. So that will be the plan, just tilting it forward. But yeah, let's see how we're going first. But first things first, we'll get stuck on the deadwood work. Okay. So what's happened is I've done the work on the gin and shari. I've reduced it as well, quite significantly. It could come down a bit more as well. But I've actually changed my mind on the front after I did that work. If I have the tree at this angle, what happens is I find the tree has this very straight part here that I really don't like, and it goes back, which would have been alright, and then we would have had to bend it down, which maybe would have been okay, but I wasn't too happy with that. So I spun around to the other side. Now that doesn't look very good from that end, but if I just slowly turn it a little bit more to line up these, I'm trying to line these up for you guys. There's two little wires there. if I lined it up around there, that tree's actually got some really beautiful movement, especially up through the top. It actually keeps moving really well. Even though that nice branch that I had on the bottom right, it defeats the purpose. The trunk is the best feature with all the movement. Now, one issue I found, apart from the wind, is this there's a huge branch right up here. It's really thick. Now, I'm tempted to gin that and create more gin and deadwood on this tree, really enhancing it and making it really some big deadwood peach feature out there. The deadwood on the trunk, it flows really well. There's lots of deadwood then, without going too crazy. But it's a really heavy branch, so either I would have to choose the other side and have it and not make it a feature, because if I had the other side, it's too hidden. It's at the back and no one would see it if I had this side. But if I had it on this side, I think I can use it and use it to my advantage. A lot of these branches will just be wide. They're very, very nice and flexible. But that's a really heavy one that I couldn't even bend if I wanted to. So that's the thinking at the moment. Using this as the front at that angle. It's a little bit tricky, but I had to raise the tree and reposition it. So always think there's always different viewing angles for trees. Don't just assume that the way it's potted is always going to be the right way to do it. So you can see in the camera the nice deadwood feature. You can see the live vein, the deadwood, really good, flows well together. Having another deadwood feature in here would look really good. I think it carries on the tree. The deadwood will be out this way and the tree will come back this way, so there's a lot of sense in how the tree moves and the deadwood features and the live veins. So hoping it all comes together, and I'll keep working on it. Now it's a matter of trying to see the best features and what I'm going to keep and what I'm going to get rid of, and start working through it. Just to update you where I'm at, what I've decided to do, obviously see the new planting angle that I'd like to try and achieve. What I've done is, you can see how this pad now, this first branch has been wired out. Now, if I cover all this foliage, hide all this foliage, and show you, you can see how nice that pad is. Nicely wired out. It creates the first branch, first major branch on the tree. I've also wired this one. There's another branch here that I've wired, and I've put it more towards the back of the tree. What that does, it highlights the gin and the shari. You know, I'll get that bending down a bit more, and really hides and shows off that shari. Now what I'm left with, what I'm trying to do also is, my main issue is look at the foliage and look at the trunk. It's a lot of foliage for a small trunk, okay? So, very important to actually try and balance the size of the foliage, the pads, etc. that you're going to have with the trunk. So if you have, like this tree looks really young when you saw it, it's just a huge bunch of foliage and a skinny little trunk. Now I'm trying to create age in the tree, gins, shari, really compacted this first branch. It's nice and tight. It's not too far. It's the best I can do in terms of trying to keep it nice and tight. It's a nice little branch that's set. Now I've got a back branch here that's just done a beautiful little job of, I haven't fully wired this one. It's done a beautiful job of filling in the back space, taking care of a lot of negative space, and also what it does, it helps me eliminate some branches. And that's what I'm coming to now. I want to show you guys this. So you can see this branch, and then there's a very heavy one just above it. There's absolutely no point having that there. It's got a lot of foliage on that one, but there's no point having that there, and that'll be ginned. What I've done is I've actually wired, there's a branch up here, and a smaller branch, and I'm going to wire from here and bring it around and fill in this gap. So that's how I achieve reduction in foliage, really thinning out a tree and not making it so heavy. Now I'll just do the cutting, because I know people like to show me, do the cutting of foliage and so on, because it's always fun. So let me just slowly get this. I'm going to leave as much gin as I can, because I don't know what I'm going to keep, what I'm not. Okay, you can see a huge difference after giving it a haircut. And you can now actually see this branch and where I'm going with it. So very clear that that branch needed to be removed. Now I will gin it. I am tempted to put a bit of wire because I want it to go upwards a little bit, not downwards, because I want it to be exposed after I then wire the rest of the tree. I want it to be exposed as part of the, so you can see it as a feature, and that's important. So you can wire. You can wire. Once you gin it, once I've taken all the cambium layer off, once you gin it, you can wire it, and that helps you. It really helps the branch set. It'll dry and set in that position. So I'm just going to go ahead and gin that, and we'll come back and see the next lot of changes. Alright, so the room has been created, as I said, and it's been ginned, and you can see I've just slightly twisted it up. I will have to reset it once I'm happy with the final position of everything. Again, nice first pad. Now, what's happened is I've got this back branch here that will fit nicely, and remember I need to reduce foliage, and look what you can see. A monster massive foliage here in this was a lovely first branch that I was talking about last time, but it is huge and out of control. This fits perfectly in here, so therefore this one down here needs to go. It doesn't suit the design, doesn't fit, and it needs to come off. So two major branches on this tree I've had to remove, or I have to gin and use it as part in the design. Having nice lots of gin in this tree will actually improve its look, improve the age look of the tree, and give you the space and actually see the trunk and make this trunk look even older. That's probably the biggest thing. The amount of foliage low down as well. It's great to have that, but when the trunk is in that fat, you can't really keep it. So I'll have to reduce all this. So I'm just going to cut all this off and gin it, just like what you saw with the other branch, and I'll give you a look at it in a minute. So we're at a really good spot right now. You can see now the tree's starting to take shape, and you can probably see my vision for the tree. I've pretty much wired all this area. You can see that ginned that one, of course. I've ginned the one at the back. Now look how much more space there is. You can actually see into the tree. You can see this first branch nice now, nicely padded. You can see this back one here that I've created, giving us some back area, and taking off that massive branch at the back. I've got a nice gin here. The other thing I found is I've got a small branch in here that that's just very low, and I'm just holding onto it for now until I'm 100% sure I don't need it. I haven't wired it yet, but just keeping it there in case I need some sort of branching in the back there. At the moment I don't think so, so I'll be taking it off. But now I'm going to pretty much, as I said, wide all this area. Now it's just trying to maneuver and compact it and put things in place to create the apex of the tree, or the rest of the branching of the tree. There'll be a few tweaks and so on that I need to move around and things like that, which is just the fun of it all. I guess the not fun was wiring everything up and then coming in and now we're trying to bend it. So the other one thing I'm probably wanting to do, I'm not 100% sure, is actually try and compact the tree a little bit, bring it down with a guide wire, but I haven't 100% decided if I'm going to do that until I start positioning all the branching. I really want a nice compact tree that tries to bring out the deadwood and the gins coming out of the tree a little bit. This will definitely have to be reduced in the terms of thickness for all the foliage. I'll need to reduce that, but until I position all the branching and put them in place, I'm not 100% sure where it's all going to go and how much I need to take off. So that's what I do. I wire everything. This is the thing for me. I prefer to wire everything. Spend that little bit extra time, spend that little bit extra wire, then cutting off a branch that's taken 2-3 years to grow. So does that make sense? If I needed that branch for some reason, I've cut it off, there's 2 to 3 years worth of growth. But spending a few extra minutes to wire that branch, put a bit of wire on it, is worth it, in case you lose that branch. So I'm going to go away and position all this. Now, I was going to try and film it all, but I'm not sure if the wind's going to pick up and just mess with it all. It's going to be like a 30-minute video then. But I will see what I can come up with. Not 100% sure. Okay. Alright everyone, so I did try and video with all the wiring, but wire positioning, but it just didn't work. The wind was way too strong. But you can see now the kind of finished tree. I'll continue to tweak here and there, but a lot of it's come up really well, better than I expected. I like the angle change. Now you can see the movement, you can see the gin, you see the large gin out there. You probably can't see the ones at the back, unfortunately, but that's okay. They're not as important as these ones. Apex takes a lot of work to get the apex right. I know I've done a few videos on how to create apexes, but it's really hard to show unless it's really in detail, and probably in person it's a bit easier than like this. But I will try another time to try how to create an apex again. It really is just maneuvering branches and positioning them in the places you want. You have to wire every single branch. There's no doubt about it. For me, I wired pretty much everything except the really, really fine twigs. And this is what you can achieve. I mean, I really like how it's come up. It's got nice pad development, nice branches. See the gins at the back. Haven't wired those ones up. I'll go the other way. So it's looking really nice. In my opinion, it's come up really nice. Better than I expected, probably. I will tweak, as I said, we'll need to tweak a little bit here and there. There's still little bits of foliage everywhere that I've trimmed off. That is just going to be everywhere. But I'll stop it there and come back. Come back to where the front is, around about there, I think. I should have marked it before I did this, but somewhere in there, nice front. You can see how apex sits nicely above the middle of the tree. Obviously it needs to be repotted in a new pot, but I think it's come up a treat. What do you guys think? Yeah, I like it. I'm hoping the client likes it. I think he will. He's been a big fan of the other 3 trees I did for him not long ago. So this should come up a real treat. I've got 2 more of his trees. One medium size, about double the size, maybe triple the size of this one. And then I've got something really special. It's an absolute monster juniper that he's given me the honour of trying to initially style. So it's just a huge tree, and I'm really looking forward to that. But I've done this one and I'll get on the next one. So it's a twin trunk. It's coming up next after this, hopefully. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer anything you like. But yeah, I like it. It's come up really well. Thanks guys for watching. See you next time.